Okay, we got our pan here. It's fired up. Now, the thing is, you want to make this as hot as possible. You don't want to be putting anything into a cold pan. So you want it just at that point of smoking, and it's almost there. If you want to test, take a little piece of the meat. It's got a nice sizzle going on. So put the meat in. Throw the sausage in too. Now the whole idea with this is that we want to cook the meat to one level of temperature, then you're going to eat it. So if you want it medium, you want to cook it medium rare. If you want it medium rare, cook it rare, because, whoops, sorry about that. What we're going to do is we're going to cook this and then take it out of the pan, get rid of the oil that's in the pan, because the next step is to put some butter in, because we want to cook our vegetables. And once those are cooked, then we're going to put the meat back in, put the sauce in. It's going to cook a little bit, so it's going to definitely raise the temperature some. Okay, so if you want it medium rare, make it rare. If you want it medium, then make it medium well. Medium rare. Okay, we want some caramelization. You see all that good stuff down here? We want that, because all that's going to go back into our sauce. Alright, we're going to move the sausage around. Maybe they look burnt on video, but they're not. They're perfect. Because everything I do is perfect. We're going to just mash them a little bit so that they cook a little bit faster. In no hurry. If you want, you can also take the sausage out of its casing before you put it in and just break it up into pieces, however you want to do it. Okay, getting some good color there. Just flip it one more time. You don't want to make it dizzy. Mom's going to kill me because there's smoke going to be all over the kitchen. We haven't gotten our fan in yet. And just for the sake of the video, so I don't stink up the whole house, I'm going to take these out now, even though everything's a little undercooked, but I'll make up for it in the end. Now when you get to this point, take it off the flame. We want to get rid of this oil here, but we definitely do not want to get rid of this stuff, okay? So just pour the oil out. And we're going to put some butter in. Now butter burns quickly, so a little trick is to put, when you're using this, put a little bit of vegetable oil in along with the butter, because vegetable oil has a much higher smoking point than butter does. So, and it's really not, it won't affect the flavor at all. Okay, we're going to take the butter, and while we're doing this, just kind of, we don't want it to burn, so we want to keep it moving. Okay, first thing we want to do is we want to put in the shallots. I'm going to turn down our flame just a little bit. Ooh, it's a lot of butter. And while you're doing this, kind of move your fork along to try to pick up those little pieces down there. Now, the wine's going to get them, and the stock is going to get them, but as you're going along, don't be shy. If the butter turns a little brown, don't worry about it. Brown butter is good flavor. I'm going to go ahead and put the mushrooms in. And these are going to absorb the butter really quickly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to toss them. Look at that, butter's almost gone. I'm going to toss them a little bit, and now, you know, mushrooms are like a sponge. They just suck everything in. But as they cook, they're going to release, and little by little, it's going to release just the right amount of butter so that they'll saute nicely. Okay? So we'll let those go a little bit. I have the flame down to like medium. Look how nice that looks already. We do have an audience here today. I want you to see our audience. Say hi, boys. They're just waiting for something to drop. Alright, let's get in here so we can see what's going on. Now, the point of this is we want to caramelize the mushrooms, because the more you see the shallots are nice and caramelized, the more we caramelize the mushrooms, the better flavor they're going to have. Now, these are just regular mushrooms. If you want to use any kind of funky mushroom, even better. Oyster mushrooms or portobello or cremini, whatever you find. Anything, you know, these are pretty flavorless, and that's why you got to really caramelize them. But if you find something cool in the supermarket, by all means use it. Alright, they're looking okay. You get the idea. I'm gonna put in a little bit of chopped tomatoes. They're hard to tell, but they really are little finely chopped tomatoes. Okay, and again, the tomatoes, you want to caramelize. You want to caramelize the tomato too. Anything you can caramelize, the better it is. And you see, we've still got all this stuff stuck to the bottom. We want all this stuff. We want to get all this stuff off, and the next step is going to do that. Oh, here's a nice one right here. Let's see how it is. Whoops. Come on. Come on. Delicious. Okay. So now we're ready to deglaze the pan, and deglazing means we want to deglaze it. We want to get all that stuff off, and we definitely want to use wine. I have port here today, but you can use Madeira, you can use Marsala, any kind of sweet wine you could even use a really full-bodied red wine. Okay, anything that's got high alcohol content, you want to take it off the flame. I'm going to put, I guess, a couple of ounces in. Okay, and then touch it to the flame. Well, it didn't work too good that time, but usually we get a little flame, and that's the alcohol burning off. So at this point, what we're trying to do is we're still trying to deglaze the pan here as much as we can. See how it's all coming off? And we want to reduce the wine a little bit because we don't want the alcohol in it. We don't want to be, eating alcohol. Well, maybe you do, but better to drink it, okay? And you can see that stuff is all gone now. It's all that good stuff is going to go in the sauce. Okay, at this point we're going to take our beef stock. Again, always use low sodium because it is going to reduce, and if it's salty already, it's going to get saltier. And I guess we're going to put in just enough to cover the mushrooms, because again, we're going to make a sauce, so we're not making soup. But you don't want too little either. And because we have a lot of stuff here to come off, we're going to put these back in now. It's also going to allow them to cook. Remember in the beginning I said that I was going to make up for the cooking time here, and here's what I'm going to do. Here's what I'm doing. At this point, you should be tasting what you're making. Okay, so let's give it a little taste. Not bad, considering that we use something out of a plastic carton here. Typically, this would be like a demi-glace that you would be putting in here that you prepared. It's taken hours and hours and hours, but who's got time to do that anymore? Now we want to let this. Now you see, remember I told you about cooking the meat 1 degree lower, because now the meat is definitely cooking in here also, but it's also allowing some of this really good flavor to get in here. Tastes pretty good. So in a minute here, we're going to be ready to. If this was demi-glace, it would already be a little bit thick, and this would just be the end of it. But because it's not demi-glace, and we do need to thicken it a little bit, what we're going to do is we're going to take, you remember our magic Wonder flour? Yeah. So what we're going to do is we're going to kind of pile stuff in the corner here so we don't have to take it out. Alright. And we're going to go ahead and put a little bit in. Whoops. Just to thicken it. We want the sauce to be thick enough to coat the back of the spoon. And I bet you we're pretty close. Let's say it's perfect. Okay, so let's shut her down. And that's it. That's Forestiere. One last little thing you can do. I happen to have some fresh thyme to the last of it. You can put some, throw some fresh thyme in at the very end. Anytime you use fresh herbs, you want to put them in at the end, not the beginning. Kind of get it in the sauce there. And then we'll plate it up and see how it is. Okay, so we're ready to plate it up. If I was serving this, I'd probably be having maybe some garlic whipped potatoes and some nice thin, pencil thin asparagus with just a little butter, toss in some salt and pepper. Keep it really simple. So we're going to put the meat down. Maybe a couple pieces of sausage around. This is plenty for 2 people, and you can see the whole thing took maybe 10 minutes. Okay. By the way, the thyme is kicked in. It tastes really, really good. And I'm just going to do a simple, just cover it. And that's it. Really nice. And you can do it with beef, you can do it with chicken, you can do it with lamb, you can do it with pork chops, whatever you want. And there's definitely some liberty to play here. But that's basically it. So if you make it, let me know. I love you.